Thank you everyone for coming. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is our first webinar here at Cloud Softphone and Acrobits. Rafa, if you can go back.
Yeah.
So we're going to be hosting these webinars every 2 months. The next one will be on the company's 14th birthday on the 9th of November. These tech-focused webinars are going to provide value to our customers by covering some new features we've been working on, some enhancements to our current products. We're going to be trying to show some insights into upcoming features and enhancements. We have some new features to show off in this webinar today that are very exciting. We also have some successful integrations with customer examples that we want to show. Today we have Gab from Voxloud. He's the CTO. He's going to be helping us with an integration he did with Cloud Softphone. And after the webinar, you'll be able to review all the content on our blog, and we're also going to have an email sent out to everyone who's attending with the recording if you want to look at it later.
Great, Daniel. Thank you for introducing this to our guest. So I'm going to roll out here the agenda to all of you, right, to show you what you can expect from this webinar. A couple of things to understand is that we really try and we strive to do as much live presentations to you, right? We're taking kind of a risk because everything can go wrong when you do really live things, but you know, this is all stuff that you're going to get as well, that is ready for most of it to go live. So I think, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So first thing we're going to show you today is this new application permission UI. This is going to be demonstrated by Thomas, our CTO. Is going to explain you why we did this, why it's a very useful tool to debug when you have a desktop application from us, why it's even crucial now that with this permission that are very strict in many operating systems to avoid to have any kind of border effects when you don't have a microphone, when you cannot call, when you might want to make this application or our application default calling applications. Next, a very much weighted feature that we have been working on here at Acrobits is the application updater. So you're going to ask me, well, why do you have it here as an updater? Well, because we want to have a better control on how these applications are updated. I'm talking here about the desktop application, of course, right? And as well, why we had forced to do it, because unfortunately, Apple have a very strict policy when it comes to desktop applications that didn't allow us to put our apps into the stores directly. It's all going to be explained by Thomas, right? Next, a very nice integration for notifications. Do you know that today, obviously, we have notifications for incoming call, for any incoming event, right? That are part of our native tools, right? That we control, which is basically our SDK and the telephony features. Now, something that we did as well is that now for those that are using the web browser tab integration within our apps, they can get notifications as well, which is great because you can expose and notify your users that an event happened there for chat, for voicemail, like Thomas is going to do it today, for any other thing that you might find useful with your own business intelligence. Next, again, thanks very much to Gabriele Prani for coming today to show us what he did himself with these web browser tabs. He did an integration for the caller ID manipulation, which I found great. And he's going to explain you the value added that he found here, how he's maintaining this, and why did it really help his business, right, to go a step further with the integration with our tools, right? After that, we're going to discuss about LinkUp. This is the brand name, I will say, of our conferencing tool. We call it collaboration tool, mainly because it's embedded into our soft phones, right? But it works as well as a complete video conferencing tool that doesn't need anything other than a browser. We're going to demonstrate you that, but first and foremost, our CTO is going to explain you why we did this. And secondly, the architecture. The architecture is important because obviously we rely on the beautiful backend from Amazon. This is based on Amazon Chime, and it's going to explain you what's behind, you know, just this web interface. There is a lot to say here, right? After that, myself, Rafael, I'm going to go walk you through a complete demonstration, what you can do today, how it's integrated, the features that are available, the numbers of users that you can have. I mean, the whole thing, which will stand around 10 minutes, right? And I hope you're going to find value here and you're going to like it as much as we like it. At least we put a lot of effort here to build something easy to use and to understand. Then after, I have the pleasure, and thanks again, Mary Friel, to accept our invitation here to come to this webinar. Mary Friel, he is the Chime Principal Business Developer. She's going to say a few words, more than a few words, right, about what Chime is, where they're going, some of the new features that they plan to put into the market that will obviously affect our own integration, because we depend on them as well onto the core features that they will put into the platform that we can put in ours. Not only, but of course, she will explain in details what's going on there, right? Finally, we're going to take 10 minutes for a QA session. So please, while we roll out the whole webinar here, don't hesitate to take notes, even to write already the questions here. You can do it in Zoom. And we're really going to try to answer to all of them. If we can't, for questions of time, because we never know, all the questions are going to be written here by our marketing team and are going to be answered into our blog afterwards, right? And finally, as Daniel explained it today, just before, we're going to roll another webinar on in November the 9th, 2022. And I'm going to show you just at the very end of this webinar what we are going to showcase and what we're going to as well roll over into our platform. Stay till the end, because I think if you're a customer, you will love it. If you're not a customer, you will get very excited about all the things that the team is working on now. So let's go now with the very first demonstration here from our CTO, Thomas, who is going to explain you the desktop application permission UI after the desktop application updater, and finally the web notification browser tab here. So up to you, Thomas. You have the mic and the presentation. So I'm going to just stop sharing.
Okay.
And you should be able now to start your own.
Okay, so hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. So we are starting with new desktop features. And first, we are going to be talking about the new permissions UI that we prepared over this time of the summer. And this is one of the features that is available already in the current release. The latest release has been out for about 2 weeks. So this is going to be an intro for those who are maybe not familiar with our desktop applications, or maybe for those who haven't noticed this yet in their new version of the desktop application. So why we built this new UI? I think we can look at it from two perspectives. One is actually the user perspective, end user perspective. As we are adding more and more features into the Cloud Softphone desktop app, we have calling, video conferencing, integration with location. We are integrating into the system as default dialer. We are using pop-up notifications to notify about, let's say, incoming calls, for example. So there's a lot of access that we require in the application. And it's really hard for the user to understand what all we might need. And there are also some really negative scenarios that we are trying to avoid. One of them, which isn't that bad, but can be annoying, user logs in, he forgets he's got the application, and in a couple of minutes he wants to make a call, but it's instead of dialing directly, it pops up a notification, we need microphone access. Even worse use case, which might be familiar to you, is you're in a meeting, in a conference, and you want to share your screen, but the application tells you it doesn't have the rights to share the screen. So you grant the permission, but then it asks you to restart the application, which is really painful because you have to basically leave the meeting, rejoin, and so on. So these are negative scenarios that we are trying to avoid. And this is the user perspective, and we also have the support perspective. You know, this is real-time communications app, and all things can go wrong. Many things can go wrong. We are talking about network. You know, people use different network, mobile, Wi-Fi, VPNs, and so on. They have different operating systems, and on top of this, we have this super granular permission systems that modern operating systems have. So there's a lot. Therefore, we decided to build this UI. We refer to it as the welcome wizard, to display it at the first start of the application to make sure the application has all the access that is required. We also know that privacy and security is getting a lot of attention in last years. So we are not forcing the user to give us all the access, even if we don't need it yet. So let's say contacts or microphone, we don't need it at the initial start. So basically the user has the option to give it to us or not. So this is the new UI available in the latest release, and let's go through some of the pages here. And one of the first ones, which you should see on my screen right now, is the default calling app request. This basically allows the user to set the desktop application as the default call handler in the whole operating system. So any telephone or SIP link will be handled by the application, regardless if it's a link in a web page in your browser or if it's a link in an email in Outlook. So really powerful feature, and therefore it's one of the pages we display at first. Then we have the regular ones like microphone, a camera for video conferencing, the screen sharing I mentioned, and then we have notifications. This wizard, as I have shown right now, didn't display all the pages that we have prepared. We have also, for example, location page to get location access in apps that require location for whatever use case our customer might need. So that is the initial setup. And it's displayed as the first thing when you launch the application, and it's also displayed, basically can be displayed anytime later from the application settings. So if there's a problem, we usually advise support to gather the application logs, and now there can be another thing to go through the wizard and make sure we have all the access that's necessary. So that was the first talking point today, the new notifications, excuse me, the new permissions UI. And the next point are the desktop updates. So why desktop updates? This basically is all about a release and update process. As of today, we are publishing apps into Apple App Store, through Google Play, and through Microsoft Store. And in the past, we also published apps into the Mac App Store. But this has become increasingly difficult, and at one point it became basically impossible for us to launch an application in Mac App Store while retaining all our features and the core features. And why is that? As of now, there is a requirement for the application in Mac App Store to run in a special environment called the sandbox. And sandbox environment means the app has restricted access to system resources, restricted communication with other applications, and restricted communication with other processes. And as I said, this affects our core features like the custom web tab or video conferencing, but there's even more. And just a side note, we are not alone in this situation. This affects other developers, all developers in the Mac App Store. And is also one of the reasons why even the industry leaders, big tech, are not publishing their all apps into the Mac App Store, especially the real-time communication apps. Earlier this year, we decided to take another look at this because really it's kind of a difficult situation where we don't have control over user application updates. And the goal was, well, let's take a look, and maybe we can compromise some feature, maybe we'll drop some features, but still deliver a product, deliver an application that is usable and desirable, and we get it into Mac App Store. Basically, after about a month or two, it became apparent that this goal is not feasible, and we should look for different solutions. And so we decided to take a different route, a natural route in context of desktop applications, and a route that the other industry leaders take as well, and that is managing, publishing, and managing updates ourselves within our platform. And the natural option for us was to manage the updates through our Cloud Softphone portal. So now let's go to the demo of what we have built over the course of the last couple of months. First thing, I'm going to show you the application. Hopefully you all see it on your screens right now. And then we will go into the Cloud Softphone portal and see what we can do there. So right now we have the same application I used for the brief demo of the new permissions UI. And you can see, let's go to settings, and in the about screen, there is a new component where we can get the status of the update. So right now I'm on version 1.3, and it's a build from today. I launched it this morning, and I can check for update, but it shows me that my application is up to date. So let's try publishing an update. So now I moved into the Cloud Softphone portal. This is our staging environment, as this is still in development, but we are close to launching this. This might be a familiar page to you if you're a Cloud Softphone portal provider or customer. We have the live version on the left, the one that is intended for release, for production. Here we have the various sections with application configuration, and a little further below we have the section with binaries and builds. As a preparation for this demonstration, I built a new live binary that I would like to publish now. So in the desktop app, I showed you we are on version 1.3. And now that we've updated our application lifecycle, application release process, we can go ahead and release this new update to the clients. So let's go to this new section, releases and updates. Here in the lower part of the page, I can review the versions that have been published, and I can see the version from this morning, the 1.3 I just showed you. On top above this box with the published platforms, I see the new live build. It's called live, but it's not yet published to the clients. So let's publish our version 1.4 to the clients. I'm going to hit publish, and it shows me a pop-up with a text edit field where I can specify the changelog for this release. So I'm gonna just type, fingers not listening, but yeah, I did it. So I have a test changelog. We will also support Markdown in the future, but that's not important now. And I'm going to hit publish. So now under the released versions, I can see the latest 1.4 we just built and published. So let's return to the application. The application is checking for new versions regularly, but right now it doesn't know there's a new version. So I'm gonna, actually, I can close the application and relaunch it. And I get a notification box that there's a new version available here down below. And I also get some sort of badge on the settings icon. So let's go and see what happened. And we see that there's a new version of CitaVox, our demo application, available. It's the 1.4 we just published. So I'm going to download it, and I'm going to update to the new version. While it's downloading, I can say that this is, we are right now in the final stage of the development, both in the of the application and of the portal. And we expect to release this for the Mac application, where we currently don't have a solution for updates, in late October, and later this year for Windows applications as well. For Windows applications, we currently have update solution in the form of publishing through Microsoft Marketplace, but we want to have a consistent experience across the desktop platforms. Okay, so the update has been downloaded, and let's go and install it. I'm going to install it to the same location. Oh, password. Okay, I'm going to type my password. The application has terminated. Yeah, once more. And it should launch any minute. Yeah, we actually see it in the dock, which I minimize for the purposes of the demonstration. And yes, we are on version 1.4. Yeah, so that was it for the desktop updates. So we are finishing this, and we will be launching this in late October. And now it's time for me to return the mic to Rafael.
You're muted, Rafael.
Talking to myself, that's great. I was saying, thanks, Thomas. Great demo. Thomas is prepping himself on his environment to show you the web tab browser notifications. Rather than re-emphasizing, I think everyone understood what we did this, but there is a couple of questions here that I might answer now directly because they're coming and they're related to the topic, right? So someone is asking if we can expect a click to dial function with a keyboard shortcut, right? We had that into the WebRTC app that we have previously to this app. This is something that we still want and we still plan to do it. I don't have any release because we really focus, as you can see, on getting basically a click to dial that is embedded into the app that you can click from Outlook or whatever else. But this is something that we definitely have in line, right? Then Frank, a good friend of mine, is asking me a very good question. He's asking is if you publish this app through, let's say, well, first of all, the Mac app, you cannot distribute it to the Mac App Store. That doesn't work. That was intentionally done for the Mac applications, right? And the desktop application. Mobile applications, they're going to be always through the stores, right? But now I think it's a good point. We are preparing the same thing for Windows. And this is a question mostly for Thomas that may can answer when he's ready. But I believe it's possible, yes, that you can, for example, release a version through the App Store, through the Windows Store, and update it there from the portal. I think it's absolutely possible. Right. Then there is other questions that I can see here, right? They're going to come. People are asking for multi-user registration. This is exactly the topic that Gabriele Proni is going to discuss. I'm going to jump into it because I know a lot of people are asking, and I'm going to cover how he solved, not the problem, how he managed that himself, and what are the plans for the company to support that going forward as well, right? So interesting question, guys. Thanks. They all make sense, right? And then another question, when we can expect the possibility to run an action on an incoming call, for example, starting a URL or starting an access with parameters that you call it. This is basically, it's a good question. It's related as well to the desktop app. And this is basically the CRM integration. The company is working on it. And you can see we work a lot. We do a lot of things. And this is going to be part of the next webinar, right? We're going to explain this, right?
Okay. I think we can move to the next one, Rafael.
Yeah, maybe another question here that it's an important one because we didn't give any date. This is ready. So when is Thomas going to be released now, the updater? I think we have a date, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think basically until the end of the year, we want to have a monthly frequency of updates. So the last one was mid-September, around mid-September. The next one will be in the second half of October. And that's when we want to have the solution for Mac released to our customers. And Windows will follow in one of the later updates this year. I cannot say exactly when, but it's very likely to be November.
Okay, thank you. So we can continue now, Thomas, if you're ready with the notification, the web browser tab notification integration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah. So you should be able to see my screen again, right?
We do, yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah. So next topic, we are moving from the desktop app to the mobile apps. But this is a feature that will be available on all platforms we support today. First, the mobile, iOS, Android, and then desktop platforms later. So we've prepared a couple enhancements for our web tab. But perhaps I should first introduce what is the custom web tab functionality. It's a very popular feature that is used by many of our customers, and it's essentially a way for our customers to expose what we refer to as their business intelligence. We have a couple of principles. One of principles is we go native wherever possible. So we have native applications on each major platform, Apple, Android, Mac, Windows. And we believe in the field of real-time communications. These will always deliver a superior experience to multi-platform solutions or web solutions. So first principle is native first, or native if possible. Second principle is customization. So we want to give our customers as much customization as possible. You can see that from the endless amount of configurations we expose in our Cloud Softphone portal. You can see it in the detailed designer that we give our customers to basically show their brand in our application. And third major way is the custom web tab and exposing customers' business intelligence. This goes against the first principle of native first, but we believe it's the best way how to make our Cloud Softphone white label applications so in a way that customers feel that this app is truly their own. I mentioned this business intelligence. What are the examples? This can be some self-care portal, either for customers or for employees. This can be customer-specific messaging. This can be custom history implementation, perhaps with call recordings. It can be visual voicemail, and so on. Or, for example, as Gab is going to show you in a few minutes, you can modify the account features. So in case of Gab and his Voxloud application, they are manipulating the outbound caller ID per user preference. So the options are endless. Our customers are really creative. And I must say, I'm often impressed of the integrations that our customers are implementing. And currently, these integrations rely on a couple of tools that we gave them. First tool is the custom tab itself. The way how we can specify up to, I believe, 5 custom tabs on all platforms. And each custom tab can have its own URL. And this URL doesn't have to be fixed URL. It can be dynamic. It can have parameters. And that means we can, for example, have an experience that is tailored to the end user. So the end user sees a content that is owned by him or is relevant only to him. For example, customers can buy credit to recharge their account. I mean, the customers of our customers. So that is the second. And third, we call the magic links, or partly it's SIP links and partly it's magic links. So SIP links are used to place calls, and magic links are used to launch certain actions in the application, in the host application that hosts the web application in the custom tab. Here I have a mirrored screen of our Office iPhone, one of our Office iPhones, and it's basically the same app I showed you before in the desktop application. We have a set of native apps here, like keypad, contacts, quick dial, and then I have a custom tab. This, despite it's looking like native content, it perfectly blends in, it's actually web content. So I can show it to you here. It's basically the same content that is now in my Chrome browser. So let's go back to the iPhone screen. So this is a web content, and it's basically a mock-up of a potential visual voicemail application. I can open a voicemail record and I can click the call button, and this will allow me to dial the number for the voicemail record. So basically, the kind of integration our customers have today, like the simplest use case. But there's a little more. You might have noticed that here on the tab bar, on the voicemail tab, the custom tab, I have this number, which is what we refer to as the batch count, which means the number of new events. This corresponds to these voicemail records that are marked as new by this blue dot. Actually, we can reset the demo so that everything is fresh as the first time I loaded. So now we have 5 new records that we can navigate through. I can go and open the first record, and you can see the tab badge has been updated. I can navigate back, open another voicemail. And this is something that was not possible before. And this functionality works thanks to a new JavaScript interface that we designed and implemented in the native application. So this works in the way that the web application, as I navigate through the voicemails, is sending requests or messages, basically updates about the batch count to the host application. So as I go through the records, the voicemail count is changed. If I reset the demo through the web app reset button, it's all in the web app, the batch count is reset to 5 again. So this is the first new thing, the JavaScript interface. And it's not just about badges. Yeah, sorry. Before we move on to the next new API, I have to mention this is not just about the badge on the tab. It's also affecting the badge on the app icon, Softphone. We are using Cloud Softphone here. Yeah, so that is, we have 5 events here, and because we have 5 new events in the voicemail tab. And I can now go and dial my account. Now I have a missed call here. And so that is, I have 1 new event in history and 1 in voicemail, and this all adds up to number 6 on the application icon. So this is another new thing specific to the iPhone applications, that there's a new system running besides of it, or basically a new like companion applications responsible for gathering events from multiple sources like calls, the custom tabs, messages, to first basically make notifications more clever. We can we do contact matching on the push notifications, and we also can basically take events from all the channels to build up the total batch count on the app icon. So that's one of the new enhancements, but this one is iPhone specific. Android is going to work out of the box, and the desktop applications as well.
Right.
So back to the JavaScript API. So first I explained the new API for batch count update, and there's also another API. Let's take a look at the records here. I have Jane Smith first, and then I have a weird contact named AAA browser demo. And the reason is that I want to highlight this contact. If we take a look at the Chrome browser window, where I have the same content, it's not showing this AAA browser demo display name. And the reason is that the Chrome browser does not implement the new JavaScript interface. And if I go back into the iPhone application, it's utilizing another API in the JavaScript interface that basically allows the web application to ask the native application to match a number to a contact. So this contact, AAA browser demo, is in fact a contact in my native address book.
So you're saying here, just to stop you 1 second, you're saying basically that you're matching basically whatever is native from the web API, right? So you have a connector there that says that. Okay.
This can be extremely useful in the use cases, like for example the call history in the web tab, or the visual voicemail or messaging, because I can, for example, exchange messages with some number that is not known to the backend.
I see.
But my own address book, it's very likely that this number I'm exchanging messages with is in my own address book. So that's why we introduced this API.
I see. Thomas, we are running now a little bit out of time because we need to move on. Yeah, sure. Because this is a very complete topic. Yeah. And it's great that you show it, because a lot of people were requesting that. I think people got it, that now we have this integration completely into the web browser tab. Obviously, this is going to publish in our blog. Our technical writers are going to give examples as well into our documentation, as well as in many parts. You will get integrations as well, example. And while we are talking about that, which follows, right, is really the presentation here. And thanks again, Thomas, it was very complete. I know you spent a lot of time to explain that. I think it's quite clear. It's a very broad topic because you can do so many things with it. And that's why you invited today as well, Gabriele Prani, who is I love the name, Gabriele Prani. He's Italian. He's run a business in Italy. And he wants to show us what he did himself, right, with his web browser tab, how he takes advantage of it, and what he's doing basically over there. So yeah, go ahead, Gabriele. You can start sharing and explaining us, basically a little bit of your business model and show us what you have done, which is in line, by the way, with questions that people are asking here about the multi-account. So yeah, gonna be interesting. Thank you.
So yes, can you see my screen, Rafael?
We do, absolutely.
Perfect. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Rafa, Thomas, and Daniel for being here. It's such a pleasure to speak together with you. And yes, I am the co-founder and CTO of Voxloud. Voxloud is basically your cloud phone system in 59 seconds. And that's the claim that we are using since the very beginning. And it's placed us as the leader of the cloud phone system in the Italian market. So basically, whether you have to start a new business or you already have a landline number, or you already have a phone system, we can help you improving your professional image right from the first contact with the customers. And in this journey that started since the 2015, and so we also have been acquired in 2018 by a multinational company named Wildix. So Cloud Softphone has been a great partner for us since the very first day. Because thanks to Cloud Softphone, with the collaboration with Cloud Softphone, we never had the need to structure an internal mobile team. And that's incredible for us, since we are a product company in the telco field, because at the end, even we can make whatever feature in terms of UX, UI, but at the end, our customers need to make calls. And it's really important that with a partner like Cloud Softphone, we can just be sure that calls on mobile can have a perfect quality, and we can just focus on the UX or UI that help us making the difference in the market. Talking about the web browser, the web tab, I would like to show you a couple of things. And so basically, we are using the web tab for more than one thing. And basically, the main features are support and CLI manipulation, like you're saying, and also we also handle the referral. Talking about the CLI manipulation, this is a crucial feature for us. Why? Because the majority of our customers have more than one landline number for multiple reasons. Can be they can have one number for each office because maybe they have more than one office, or maybe they want to have a landline number for each department, or they can add a landline number for a particular marketing campaign. And there's the need to manage these multiple numbers as a single user, both on receiving and on making calls. And one of the biggest problem on ending lists is that the simple solution, let's say, would be to have multiple SIP accounts for bound to every number, but this is a very bad solution from a UX point of view, but also from a technical point of view, in my own opinion, because having multiple SIP accounts for each user means multiple load for each user. So also talking about how we should dimension our telephone infrastructure, there's a huge difference if for each user we just need few devices or one device, or for each user we need one device for each number. Plus, this feature on CLI manipulation is helping us also on how we handle the pricing. Why I'm saying that? Because our pricing is a per user pricing, but we limit the number of devices. So basically, each user can have one phone device, one desktop device, and also one physical device. And in this way, we can manage with this. We can manage this limitation that is helping us increasing the cost and increase the revenues for each customers by continue offering the freedom to our customers to manipulate our CLIs. So what we did, basically, as you can see from in the first iPhone, we have we created inside the web tab a menu, and one of the menu item is called outgoing number. When you open this tab, you get to a menu that will list every number, and you can select the number that you want to use for the next outbound call. What happens when we select when the numbers is selected in our servers? We save the selected number as a preference of that particular device. So in this way, the customer can simply handle very seamlessly without the need to change any account, anything, and just change from one number to another. Another important point is, of course, being able to give the best support to our customers, and it's incredibly important for us because all our marketing is based on our support level. As you just to give you an example, we have more than 200 positive reviews on Trustpilot with 4.8 as rating, and for us it's so important to be able to be close to our customers and give them the possibility to get support whenever they want. And that's why we embedded also Intercom, which is the software we use for support, in our web tab. So this means that they can simply whatever question the customer has can simply go in our web tab that is named account, and can get to the support and chat immediately with us.
Right. Did you have to do anything special to load that chat, or
no?
It's been so
simple because basically I just had to integrate the intercom JavaScript library. That is just a couple of line of codes, and just connect the menu item to open the chat, and that's it.
I see. Well, it looks great, and plus I know you can customize that tool very much, and it looks very native. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yes,
that's great. That's great. Thanks for explaining that. I think everyone got the point that is manipulating here the caller ID to save him to use multiple accounts. I know the question came. We're going to answer there at the Q&A. So the last thing, I know, Gabriele, you're running in a minute. If you can explain us, I know you have another slide. Gabriele, aside of being a great CTO, took the initiative to write his own blog that I think going to interest a lot of people here. I'm really interested. I'm registered there. It gives a lot of tips managing remote teams. So can you explain what you do there? Because I found it great. So that's why I ask you to tell us a little bit more about it.
So yes, it's a real pleasure. So I started Voxloud in 2015, but after the pandemic, we had a big growth, and also we are now preparing to expand in new countries, especially in the UK and the US. And my headcount in my company exploded. So we moved in 1 year from 15 people to more than 50. Yeah. And we started the company as a full remote company. We are now more than 50 people. We work in 12 different countries. We speak 13 languages. And so I, together with my co-founder Leonardo, we face a lot of challenges to handle a remote company, to grow a remote company. And a lot of friends, people in my network and also out of my network were asking me suggestions. So that's why I started sharing my experience on handling remote teams and managing a remote company. And I came up with a newsletter named the Saturday Remoter, where I share one simple tip every Saturday. So it's no more than 2 minutes every Saturday, and I share one tip about remote management.
Excellent. That's excellent. So I advise everyone that is interested. I think for me it was. I'm managing remote teams. I'm sure most of you do that, and it's great to read that because sometimes you find very useful information. So again, thank you very much for joining, Gabriele, for the tips and to show us, to be very open about what you did. I hope it gives some inspiration to others. And now, without any interruption, we're going to go directly to the link of demo, guys. I know we're a little bit out of time, but I'm going to do it well. And I hope not too fast, but I'm not going to do fast. So let's start here with this link up integration, right? So link up, and I said, let me move that somewhere else because it's polluting the whole thing. Okay, can you see my screen? Everyone, right? Good. So Linkum is, I got the question, is obviously a collaboration tool. Why we call it collaboration? Because it's embedded into the apps that we have. That's the collaboration part. Collaboration because you can add basically video conferencing, chat, and many other things within the telephony stack that we already have through the portal. That's one of the use cases. There is another use case where you can use this, what I'm going to show you now, completely as a web conferencing tool without using any of our apps that you can customize and launch and sell it to your customers with all the added value that we have here, including basically the white labeling part, right? So let's go and log in. And this is basically the user, every user, any registered user. And I'm going to move this somewhere else too. Every registered user will get access to this management backend. Well, let's call it like that, where you can do the same things that you do in many other conferencing tools, right? And you have settings. First and foremost, we decided to create a very simple conferencing tool. Why? And because we don't want to explain it to anyone. We don't have a documentation in the sense that we don't have user documentation because it's very easy. It's very natural. You will see when I'm in how you use it. I don't want to explain it to my mom. And every time my mom uses other tools, she called me, and I'm not saying they're bad. They're just more confusing because there are so many features into it, right? And this is really intended to be a web collaboration tool or a collaboration tool within apps that are already very complex to use, right? You have the phone, you have the messaging part, you have many other things that we show it and that you use in an everyday basis, right? So how do you basically use this, right? And what you can do, right? You can see here that I can create setups. Setups are basically different rooms. You can see this is my own personal account where I have different meeting rooms that I share and use for different purposes, right? This is my personal one. This is the one that I have with my tech team. This is with my digital marketing manager. And this is the one that I have as well with my marketing. What I use different ones? Well, because there are different setups, right? They are maybe limited on time or other things that are useful for me. So let me give you an example, right? Let's say I'm starting a project with Thomas here to deliver something to a customer in a time frame that is already decided, right? And I'm going to call it project, right? I'm calling it project here because I want to be able to differentiate it within all my other rooms, right? I'm going to put an expiration date, right? And the expiration date for me, let's say, is in the 9th of November. And I'm going to use this link anymore. It's a unique link, right? I can set a meeting password for all the users. I cannot use a meeting password, or you can only say that you want the host to be there before anyone else can join, right? If I recorded a meeting password for everyone, this will be part of the invitation. Obviously, you can override it. This is one that we offer here within the interface. It's really entirely up to you, right? Another very great thing, this is, as I said, powered by Amazon Chime, right? You can detect the region from where people are going to join. So the tool is going to use the API from Amazon and check the IP address from where the guest is going to connect to, giving him the best media proxy. Why we do this? Basically, because we want to give them the best quality, right? For voice and for video. You can choose to override that. For example, if we know that we have meeting here at Acrobits, and I can just select, right, whatever the server, and there is many here, right, around the world, right, that I want to use because this is my own personal preference, right? Then we have here PSTN numbers. This is the one that we have set here. We have many other numbers from many other countries. You know that we are part of Cinch. They have something like 104 countries, and we're going to deliver those numbers through anyone that wants to use this platform, right? For where users, it's weird, but some users, they like to call in via phone into a web conferencing. It's possible from here as well, right? And I can assign a PIN and many other things here to my setup. If I close it, you will see that this meeting is going to basically appear here. What is it? What is it? What is it? The project, right? And I can run it and start it. This tool is connected to my calendar, to my personal calendar. I will show you how it works. So whatever I have as meetings that are going to use this user interface, I will see it. I had a meeting today with Daniel 2 hours ago, and this meeting is showed here. It showed that it ended, right? And it's done. If I had any other one, I will see it here. I can press the play button and I'm going directly into the conference. I have access to the whole history here, to all the meetings that I've been doing into the past. This is something that we can set up for you. I have a preference to show it only for 30 days. I don't need more, but it can be extended to 60, 90. It's all about how you will set up in your end. And as well, obviously, this is critical. I have all the recordings. As you can see, this one expires in 17 days. That's as well my preference. I don't want to have it for more than 30 days. But here, if I obviously had many more meetings here over the last year, right? And I just don't want to keep them here, right? If this meeting ends, I'm going to download simply the whole recording and share it with my peers or whoever wants to have it. Very, very simple. At the end of it here, you have many other different things that are related to the portal with like my username, the cloud ID that I'm using from our app. And you can see here that I will just log out, right? And this is the calendar integration. At this point of time, we can sign with Google, with Microsoft. It's very simple. I'm just gonna be present with the same, the interface from Google, put my password, and the tool will connect to, and I'm going to obviously allow to read my calendar and so on. This is basically privacy settings that you can set. And now I'm connected to my Google Calendar, right? Well, what I can do, I can just not see here from the Google Calendar if the meetings that I have, but I can schedule an event using my calendar. Let's say I'm going to use my room, or not, let's use the last room that I picked before, right? The project one, right? And I'm going to have a meeting just on for another purpose, and I want this meeting to stand for 45 minutes. And I decided the date is going to be, let's say, tomorrow at whatever the time here, 5:45, right? Clicking on next, you see that here the tool sees that I have an overlapping or conflict basically with my calendar because I have something, I'm saying I'm going to ignore it, and I'm going to just say the event, and I can open the event here directly into my Google Calendar interface. You will see that all the settings that I've preset with you before. So this is the ID, the link people they can join, the password if you remember, and all the phone numbers where people they can access. And I can start adding a guest, like one of my colleagues. I save it and is job done, right? Important to note that I'm using here Google, but we can use as well Office 365 with the integrations that we have, right? So let's go now to the user interface, how it looks, what you can do. I'm going to join my personal meeting here. It's going to look a little bit awkward because you're going to see me twice, but that's fine. I'm going to mute myself. And this is basically the whole interface here. And you can see, hey, you have my colleagues. I asked them to join too, right? For those that are interacting a lot in the Cloud Softphone portal, you probably recognize the names. So you can probably now put a face on their name. This is Christoph, Andrej, Anthony, probably Gabriel will join. They're in Prague now. And you can see that we are in this meeting. You can see that themselves, they have a background. I don't have one, but I can set one, which I'm going to show you now. And as I say, you have someone as echo. Okay, thank you, Gabriel. So can you hear me, guys, still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, thanks. Gabriel had echo. Please mute yourself, guys. Mute yourself. You have to mute yourself. So what I was saying is that I lost it now. So as I say, this is a very simple user interface, right? If you want to share your screen, it's right in front of you. You just share it. I have two screens, as you can see, right? So I can decide the one I want to share, right? If you want to start a recording, it's right in front of you as well. You just start the recording. I can do it if it's needed here, and everyone is gonna have an information on the other side that the missing music recorder, right? And then you have these three dots that gives you many other options. One of them is basically the input settings, right? The input setting is what? The camera that I'm using. If, for example, I have several cameras, I can select the one that I want to use for the meeting. I can set my video background settings here, and basically it will present me with I can block my background, very easy to do, or I can replace as well my background with some preloaded images that you can change as well. If you decide to put your own, like in many other platforms, you choose the picture or whatever you want to put into your background, and it will be your background, right? I save and apply, and I'm going to just leave it like that. And that's it. If I go back again here into the input settings, remember to have the camera, but as well, I can decide whatever the device I want to use as a microphone. I have several ones here. For the speakers, right? I have several ones here, and I'm using the default here from my computer. The same thing for the microphone. I have several ones, and I'm using this precise one here now with my setup, right? We have there is other very advanced features that are part of the Chime SDK. We have background noise reduction that you can set a certain level, right? I use it at normal. But for example, if you are in a very noisy environment, let's say in an airport or in a call center, you can force it, and you will see this does absolutely an incredible job without creating any artifacts into your own voice, right? The same thing here, you can set up by default all these things, or you can restore the defaults and you can close it. Another very nice feature that Amazon have that is absolutely fantastic is the voice focus. That will need just a meeting to explain what they do. Is a voice artifacts as well, but it's basically forced by everyone to be used. You can disable it. It will change slightly your voice, but it's really keeping your voice into tune right into the meeting. It's a fantastic feature. I love it. It was deployed by them, I think, less than a year ago, and it's really, really neat and useful from an everyday base. So this is now, we understand that here I'm in a web conference, right? So how will this look if I might use the desktop or even the mobile application? Let's focus a little bit on it, right? So I hope you guys can see here my screen and my device. Oops, well, my device went off for some reason. So let's disconnect it and let's play here with only the desktop application, right? This is the desktop app. The desktop app that Thomas was showing you before is the desktop app that is customized here with the name of Acrobits. You have the contacts, you have the dial pad, you have the recents, and here you have the conferencing. Important to note that this is an embedded integration, right? We use our JavaScript SDK from Chime, but it's not a web browser, just URL link integration. It's really embedded into our app, which is really useful. So let me now join the conference that we are in here into this side. The only thing I'll do is, like you can see here, I'm copying the link and I'm gonna paste the link here into the desktop application. I recall everyone, I'm in a web conferencing and I'm going to, as a host, and now I'm gonna join from this desktop native app, the same conference, right? It's checking my permissions, looking at my region, and now you have me here into the same conference with the same people, but you just have me twice, right? The second time, I'm just gonna enable my camera and you will see me here into the same office, showing you again, this is the web, this is the desktop, not get confused, is a different setup, right? And I'm here as a guest, right? So I can do pretty much exactly the same things that I do with the web conferencing app, right? I can still tweak my sound, I can still decide and share my screens, exactly the same thing that I'm doing. The important part here is this is embedded, right? So I can basically browse back, continue being this app, still discussing with my colleagues for anything else, using any other browser tab, still being into this conference, right? Let me now try to reconnect my phone. I hope this will work, because I think it freezed. Yeah, it's just freeze. That's great. Something needed to happen today that it doesn't work. So give me just a second, because it's a very nice part here. What is going on? I'm gonna just force quit this one. Just a little second. Bye-bye. Gonna relaunch it and hopefully it will work. Reflector, that's the one. Let's see if I can. Yeah, here we go. So that's my phone, right? And I'm going to join as well the exact same conference that I'm in, right, with the mobile application that I have here, right? So as you can see, you have several tabs. The tabs that are all native, right? And here at the very end, you have as well the same conferencing tab. It looks exactly the same as been done in the responsive mode. Is natively, very important, natively part of this app. And if I just want to join this conference, I'm just going to type the code that I know by heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's 27. And I should be able to join now. Now mute myself. And now you can see me 3 times because I have a big ego, right? And now I'm really into this mobile app, right? So I can do many things, exactly the same that I do in the desktop app, but they just look very nice as well into the mobile app, right? I can change the setup and put everyone not in the same view, but just down here, right? I can enable my camera, right? I forgot to do that, right? And I can play, I can see all the people, I can see all the participants. I can see if they have video, if they have their microphone enabled. If I was basically a host, I will enable to help them, not a host, but a host, right? I'm going to be able to help them with the settings, right? And forgot to show that too. I can chat with them and say hello, right? And you will see that here into the corner, all the users will get the message that they can reply to. So there is a chat embedded as well into the conference. If they send me a link, I will see that as a URL, and so on and so on and so forth. But the best part of this mobile integration, in my opinion, and the most useful one is, let's say I'm getting a call now. What am I doing, right? So if I'm getting a call, I will be present with the dialer, right? And I can browse back, and I can still be, as you can see here, all the time into the app without interrupting the meeting. You see the banner here on top that tell me you can still go back to the meeting. The microphone permissions, if I had a call, are just switched. I will be muting the other end, and I can still do everything that I want into the conferencing. If I want to go back, I can always go back. And if I want to say bye-bye from my phone, I'm just hanging up this, and I'm present here with the user interface again, right? So what else I can show you here? I know we're a little bit ahead of time here, but what I can say is that you can join this conference, that's the question, as a complete web experience. If I open the same link that I've been inviting everyone from my browser and just open Chrome, I can still join this conference. So there is no installation needed for your guest if you use this app. I repeat, no installation needed, even from the mobile apps. It works even in Safari, right? So I'm going to use web phone as a nickname, and I'm going to join this conference. I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to enable my video, right? And it will work in the same way using Chrome and Safari, right? Works on both, and I think in Edge as well, right? So, yeah. Lastly, right, the other very interesting part, and thank you guys for joining the meeting. You'll see that I have, as I'm a host, I can kick everyone out from this meeting. Bye-bye, and bye-bye, and bye-bye, everyone, right? And I can always, you know, I have a lot of rights to do many, many things as a host, right? Lastly, how does it work from the portal that everyone is familiar with, right? You know that we are a white label company, so white label is important, and the web conferencing as now is own white labeling tool, which is here. We call it the designer. The same way you can design your applications, you can design this web conferencing tool, and it's go as far as changing every single icon, every single color, the logo that you use at the beginning, that least look not only like being yours, but as well align with whatever the designs you have into your desktop or mobile application. It's a great designer. We took a lot of time to do this. Works really well. We're very proud of this tool because it really helps and enhances the whole experience. And I can only repeat again that you can use this in two modes: as a collaboration tool into the apps, or as a web conferencing tool if you want to launch it or plan to give it to your users just as another web platform that they can customize. So that was it. Now we're going to move to the very last part of this presentation, which is basically discussing and having a word from Mary Frill. Thanks for all the ones that stayed here. I know we took a little bit more time than we wanted to, but here, Mary, are you still with us?
I am, Raphael. Can you hear me?
I can. Do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to do it for you?
You know what? I'll just take. You know, I don't think we need to share the screen at this point. I think you did a great job with your demonstration with some of the capabilities. Just wanted to kind of touch upon, you know, so the Amazon Chime SDK can not only be used, you know, to create communication platforms like Raphael and team have built with the LinkUp platform. But I think what's interesting as well is many of our customers are using these individual communications components that are built into the SDK to create unique real-time communications capabilities in their own applications. So as you start to see mobile apps or, you know, perhaps customer applications where customers have an opportunity to, you know, go into a customer app and look for information or look up their account. We're creating abilities for those customers to actually gain support or talk to a live person, or incorporating AI/ML capabilities into those scenarios with voice bots and messaging bots and things of that nature. So many of you are going to think of the Chime SDK as being those, you know, the foundation to, you know, a collaboration platform like what we saw with Raphael and the LinkUp platform. But each of these components can be bundled together to create these meeting platforms like you saw here, or we could use these individual components and build them into various applications to create a number of different use cases, complementary to customer contact centers, or further enhancing a customer's user experience in their own applications. So when you think of the Chime SDK, it's not just a meeting platform. We use these capabilities to service many use cases, outside of just general meetings, whether it's in the healthcare realm with telemedicine or enabling different communication between a doctor and a patient, or patient and their healthcare providers or their health plan payers, as well as, in the fitness world, with, remote live access to exercise and fitness classes, and in a whole host of other scenarios. So I just wanted to leave you with that there's a lot of capabilities. It's a very comprehensive SDK, and I'd love to talk to you more about it at another time. But thank you so much to Raphael, and congratulations on the launch of this tremendous platform and solution. It really is easy to use.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope especially our customers will find value. For those that are customers of Cloud Softphone, you can just go there, enable it, and give it a try. It's that simple. There is no cost if you want to try it, of course, like any of the tools that we have. For those that are not customers of any of our products, you can just contact us, right? Links will be sent, an email, and all the ways and how you can contact us by our marketing team shortly, along with the video recording and everything else. Now we're going to go to a QA session of 5 minutes, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to discuss next time in November, right? So let me pick some questions. So Michael Ross, or I think that does Chime works on mobile? Yes, absolutely. I just showed it. It works on mobile. It works natively with Chrome, or if you use an iOS, it would work on Safari the same way I showed it. And it works obviously on mobile if you have the integration, as we call it, with collaboration, right? Then other questions. Anton asking if you have a particular custom feature can be somehow organized. Yes, the best way to do that is to just, if you have your account manager or pre-sales manager, can be Milan, maybe myself, maybe Alejandro, just drop him a line and he will help you with that, right? But yes, it's possible. We just need to look at it. We don't want to do it forcibly. It depends on what it is, but we always investigate and try to find the best solution for you. Maybe there is a solution today that works that you don't know, and our team can look at it. So no problem at all. Let's see. What else? What else? There is a question here for the web tab. How many web tabs you can have into the desktop app, Thomas, or into the mobile apps? Any answer to that?
Yeah, the mobile apps, the limit is 4. The desktop app, I think there isn't really a hard limit, but we usually expect up to 4 or 5 tabs.
I see. Luke is saying that he loves our company. Thank you, Luke. We love you too. Appreciate the comment. The roadmap, that's an interesting question. It's a question that comes very often to us. And you know that we do a lot of things here at Acrobits. So the plan is really to release a roadmap, but we don't have a commit date. What we do is you really work by Qs, right? By quarter. The reason is we have an extremely agile company, right? And we have to stay agile because this market changes so rapidly, right? So whatever happens, we have to react at a very high, very rapid pace. Lastly, for example, Android decided to change completely the way and how they're going to manage their privacy policy. It put a mess everywhere because the way they asked us to do things was not the way they were reviewing things. So we have to adapt. That's a very good example that slowed us, the whole team, more than a month. but we really strive really to give to our customers, to you, to every one of you, really the most consistent roadmap we can, right? But it's really going to be by quarter. We cannot basically put a release at a 15th of November or the 3rd of November, because that's very difficult for a software company like us. But yeah, we will be more open as well. These webinars that we're doing here, right, are intended to disclose these kind of things to you, which I'm going to do in a minute now, right? So yeah, we know that we have to put an effort there, right?
Also related to the roadmap, we saw a couple of questions related to CRM integration in the desktop app. So in the comments, I mentioned the due date of Q1 2023. Yeah, this is software development, as Rafael just explained, so we cannot say a specific date, but I advise, or I suggest, anyone who has an idea or use case for the CRM integration, but basically any use case, any scenario that you would like to implement or integrate into the app, and just explain it into our support tickets, and we will review it and take that into account, and perhaps we'll put it on the roadmap as well.
Mm-hmm. The pricing, there is questions about the pricing and the conferencing. It's in the portal. Of course, there is tiers depending on the numbers of users that you will have. Anyone that wants to go more in detail, just contact your pre-sales representative again, and they will work you through. They will help you with that. That's a complete different discussion. But yes, there is a pricing, there is tiers. We put a lot of effort there as well to facilitate that. So now, let me go to the next webinar and what we are going to disclose and what we are going to discuss, right? Obviously, we will always try to give you an update about the things that, we just were discussing today, hopefully, and I'm pretty sure that the desktop updater will be live by then. But the things we're going to go through, and whoops, are you going to do what I say? Yes, thank you. So now, one of the things that the company has put a lot of effort into, I know many of you asked, is to be able to deliver you not only one-to-one chat integration, which is basically based on web services, but as well a multi-party turnkey integration. And this is something that we have been working very hard on, and that we're going to showcase and show you at the next webinar. We really expect to have this by the end of the year. So the idea is very simple, guys. As you have the web conferencing, you will be able to go to the portal, press a button, and have multi-party instant messaging into the portal without doing anything. That's the plan, right? Really the plan, like the web conferencing. The next thing, which is again a very, very, very long development, you will understand, and we want to explain why it takes so long, why we have to be very careful when we do these things. But we are doing a complete refresh of the iOS and Android user interfaces, as you can see here. On the next webinar, we will go through with the team leaders that are going to explain you what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what you have to consider the day you want to refresh your own user interface. Is a facelifting. Of course, we are not going to revolutionize this, but we give basically more tools. As you can see, is way more modern. You have more possibilities as well. And we're going to go through it really in details on the next webinar. Well, that's it. It has been an hour and a half, and I'm very sorry. And thanks again for all those that stayed, for those that had to leave. Well, you will see these matches after, obviously, but we're going to send the recording, right? Again, Daniel and his team will send an email to everyone. I really appreciate everyone's time. The questions that haven't been answered, I repeat once again that we will do it in a QA section into whatever we're going to deliver as material after this webinar. Again, thanks to Mari. I know we run a little bit out of time, but I think you say important things. Thanks again for all the support from Amazon. Hopefully this platform is going to get the success that we're all up for. Gabriele, thank you very much for taking the time, being so open, showing what you have done, right, to give ideas to others. On the next webinar, we will have even more customer that comes and explain what they're doing. If everyone is interested, just ping me to show the stuff that you potentially are interested to show here to others. And I wish you a very nice evening, nice morning, nice day, wherever you are in the world, and speak to you soon. Thank you very, very much. Thank you again, Thomas and Daniel, of course, for organizing all this.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks,
Maria.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
great day.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.